Nisam Bulavinaka, my name is Olivia Tokalaulevu. I am one of the Workforce Development Officers at QATSICPP and I look after the Scholarships program. Before I begin this presentation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which I am recording this from, the Yagara and Turrbal people. I pay my respects to their elders past, present and future, and I recognise their continuing connection to land, sea, sky, waterways, community and culture. So this presentation is just a brief overview of the scholarships program. Okay, so before I dive into the details of the scholarships program, I need to emphasize the importance of student readiness and preparedness to undertake postgraduate study. So you would need to determine your why. Why do you want to study? It's important to ask yourself, what are your motivations to study and how will it help you? And continue to ask these questions of yourself throughout the entire scholarship process. So this is important because a lot of the times we have staff jumping at the opportunity to gain a qualification or do further study without establishing the why, and this has generally resulted in a withdrawal from the course or even the program altogether. So please take note of these questions and determine your why as to why you want to take up this opportunity to study. Okay, so in determining your student readiness and preparedness, it's important to consider the following. The first one is your commitment to studying. So are you ready to reorganize or reshuffle your current routines at work and home to commit to at least 5 hours of study per week? And this could include a 2-hour lecture, online lecture, as required by your course. It could be during work hours or in the evening. Then you'd probably need another 2 hours to work through the week's content topic. So that's a lot of reading through the content, and maybe commit the last hour to your assessments. So constantly working on your assessments throughout the trimester rather than leaving it to last minute. Now we've put 5 hours on there and that's our recommendation, but some courses actually will require a higher study load depending on which course you choose, and it could potentially be up to 10 hours per week that they require you to commit to that course. So yes, finding that time in your schedule. The second thing is your social and emotional well-being. So are you in the right headspace to focus on the task at hand? Will you be able to switch from work to study to home life? And can you balance that time within your current schedule? So looking after yourself in the first instance is important, and considering whether you really actually want to study and want to use this for personal or professional growth, and asking those questions like, is my mental well-being going to be okay taking on the extra 5 hours per week of study? The other thing you need to consider is your time management and organizational skills. Now, are you or can you be disciplined with your time? Do you stick with priorities in your calendar, or do you allow them to lapse and just play catch up? Is studying really a priority on your to-do list, or are you again just jumping at the opportunity to get a qualification that's paid for? So really dig deep and find out your why. Ask yourselves these questions throughout the whole process and really check in on your student readiness and preparedness to take on study. So I guess the most important thing is your social and emotional well-being, your mental health. Considering the sector that you already work in, will studying add to that, or will it add to your stress? So please continue to ask these questions. Now, onto the scholarships program. So to be eligible to apply for a QATSICPP scholarship, you must be of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander heritage and be employed in our sector. Then you will need to meet the entry requirements for Griffith University. So when you apply to enroll in the graduate certificate program, you can enter based on the fact that you have a bachelor's degree. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, the other entry point is a certificate for or diploma plus 1 year's full-time work experience in our sector. And if you don't have that, most of our cohort enter through the third option, which is 3 years full-time work experience in the sector. So when you apply to enroll in the graduate certificate program, if you don't have either of the first two, you can apply based on your 3 years full-time work experience in the sector, and you will need to provide your resume and a letter of reference from your employer stating your current role and responsibilities. Under the QATSIPP Scholarships program, you have the option to study a graduate certificate in First Peoples Community Practice or a graduate certificate in Human Services. So in terms of these graduate certificate programs, both of them are offered online through Griffith University. Now you're required to do 4 courses and successfully pass 2 core subjects and 2 electives. The recommended study plan is 1 year part-time. However, you do get 2 years to complete the whole program. So if in the event that life happens and you need to withdraw or defer or take a leave of absence, you can do that for up to 2 consecutive trimesters, and just keep that in mind that you do get 2 years to complete it. Now we commence in trimester 3, which is usually the first week of November, and we start with the QATSIPP subject, which is the QATSIPP Practice Standards course. So this course was co-designed with Griffith University. We have a 1-week intensive block where you are required to attend the classes for that week, and they are co-facilitated and hosted by QATSIPP as well as Griffith staff. As I mentioned, it's all online, so you need to ensure that you have the right tech. You need to ensure you've got a good computer or laptop and a good internet connection to get through your studies. So before I continue with the scholarships program, I wanted to highlight where the graduate certificate program sits on the Australian qualifications framework. The graduate certificate is a level 8 qualification, which is higher than a bachelor's degree, which sits on level 7. So when you apply based on your 3 years work experience, Griffith consider that as equivalent to a bachelor's degree. So you'll be studying at a postgraduate honours level when you study the graduate certificate program, and that's only 2 levels off the highest qualification in Australia. Your student support network. So when you apply for a QATSIPP scholarship, this is who you will have around you to support you through your studies. Your organisation, QATSIPP, Gulmurray Student Success Unit at Griffith University, and Griffith University themselves. When you apply for a QATSIPP scholarship, the expectation is that you yarn about the opportunity with your line supervisor and CEO, and that's to gain their approval not just for the application but for the ongoing commitment to support you through your studies. So the expectation is that there's regular supervision, and during that supervision with your line supervisor, you are able to yarn about your progress, about your assessments, how you're feeling, how you're traveling, and making sure that there is flexibility in your role and your workplace to facilitate taking on these study commitments, and that they can make reasonable adjustments or make special considerations, especially during assessment time where students can get heightened a bit in terms of stress and trying to meet deadlines for work and study. So whether your workplace has study leave as well, there's an expectation that there are yarns happening around that as well. So QATSIPP's commitments to our scholarship recipients is that we will manage the tuition fees for the 4 courses. We also will provide mentorship. So we have a couple of staff members at QATSIPP that have also graduated from the graduate certificate program and can provide mentorship to students. We do fortnightly check-in sessions. So this is set up in Microsoft Teams, and there's a chat set up. So it acts as a peer support group, but we can also do sessions with Q&A where we invite the mentors in to ask questions about content or assessments, and the assessment workshops we like to set up a couple of weeks before an assessment is due to see how everyone's traveling and just bounce ideas off each other. We also have face-to-face progress catch-ups, and we also provide support when it is time to graduate. On to Gumari Student Success Unit. So Gumari is the Indigenous unit set up on the 5 campuses across Southeast Queensland for Griffith University. Now, they offer free tutoring, and I highlighted there that it is proven at universities that if you engage with tutoring throughout your course, you are more likely to pass. And that has been evident in our past students. So everyone that has taken on the opportunity to have a tutor has passed their course. We have a dedicated student support officer at Gumari, and they're our first point of contact because they have access to Griffith University and know the processes. So if there are any issues, they're our first point of contact. They also provide student access cards to their units across the 5 campuses, and in these units they have computers, they have meeting rooms, study rooms. They have a full-on kitchen that is fully stocked. So if you need to go have a feed, you can go have a feed. They also have a relaxation area with a PlayStation. So if you need to take a break from studying, that's where you can do that. But also they have free printing. So a lot of times it is easier to print out your content. And if you are based in Southeast Queensland, take advantage of that option to get a 24-hour student access card where you can go and do all your printings on any of the campuses. So Gumari also run our orientation, our student orientation, and provide ongoing support, and they also provide graduation support when required. Griffith University also have a lot of student learning support on their website. So they have resources to help you with your academic skills. One of the ones that we tap into is the library workshops. They hold this at the start of each trimester, and it's workshops on academic writing, referencing, researching, critical thinking, all the things or all the academic skills you need to get through your course. So highly recommend going through the website, downloading resources, watching the videos, registering for workshops, because they will be extremely helpful in getting you started for your graduate certificate program. Okay, these are the key dates. The applications for the QATSICPP scholarships are now open. They close on the 6th of September and you are notified by the 20th of September. So when you apply, we will then walk you through the Griffith University process and how to apply for your graduate certificate program. Okay, next steps. Firstly, thank you very much for watching the video right through to the end. Now that you're done watching this video, download the scholarship guidelines and have a read through that. Then determine your student readiness and preparedness to undertake this graduate certificate program. Discuss the opportunity with your line supervisor and make sure you have their full support and that they have escalated that to your CEO for discussion as well. And fill in the EOI form and submit when you are ready. Thank you.